Guys, let's create a flow that sends an email from a different user, not from the email of the login user. Because you might want to create a flow that, okay, I want this flow to send an email, but not from the email of the login user. So to achieve that, there's a settings you need to set in your Exchange Admin Center. So to be able to have access to Exchange Admin Center, that means you must be a global administrator, and if you don't have that right, that means you will need to contact your global administrator in your organization to do to uh to to set these settings in Exchange Admin Center. So what you're gonna do, you need to set an email that you want the flow to be sending, the email you want the flow to be sending from. You need to set send as or send on behalf of, as in you to have permission to send as or on behalf of. So this is what we're going to do. You have this is my admin center here, my Microsoft admin center. Then there's something we call exchange. Like I said, you go to exchange. So for the purpose of this demo, I already set up an email address that I want to use for this flow. So you go to, once you go to exchange, you go to mailbox. This will list out all the email address you have in your tenants. So you will locate the email you want the flow to be sending from. For this, I have an email address that is called demo mail. This is a shared mailbox. You can use a shared mailbox or probably a user that you want the flow to be sending the email from. So I'm going to use this demo mail. You click on the mail you want the flow to be sending from. Then you go to delegation. Okay, you go to delegation. You see this send as this send as, you go to edit, then you click on add member, then you search for the member you want, to add, because this is my own account. I'm the one that will be creating the flow, and I'm the one that will be triggering the flow. So whoever is going to trigger the flow, they need to have send as permission for that email address. Let's say, for example, you have an email address that is for David, and you want the flow to be sent from David's email address, and Daniel is the one that wants to trigger the flow, which means Daniel needs to have sent us permission for David's email address. All right. So now this is my, let me just search for my name. Marvelous. Okay, yes. Save. Then I confirm. So this is going to kind of take time for it to take effect. As you can see, the change will say and will appear within 5 minutes. So it's going to take like 5 minutes for this change to take effect. So I'm just going to crop this video. So once you've set a delegation to be to send us, like the demo mail is the mail I want to be sending the flow from, while Marvelous is the one that has the permission and send as permission. So whoever is going to trigger the flow needs to have send as permission. So now let's go ahead and create a manual, an instant cloud flow that will be triggered manually just for a test. So let me just call this send as. Call this send as. Okay. Then I create. Okay, okay. So add another action to send an email address. To send an email. So send an email. So I want the email to be sent to my email, to me, but you will see the email is going to come from, as you can, if I scroll down, you see connected to, this is my email address that is connected to. Normally when you trigger a flow, the email will be sent from the user who is logged in, who is triggering the flow, which is, this is connected to my own email address. But note this email address, when the mail comes in, it's not going to come from this. It's going to come from the shared email box I set. So this is a demo mail. Send us test. It's just for a demo. So now you come to this advanced parameters. You click on from, which is send as. All right. Then you enter the email address, which is just that I already set in my admin center, Exchange admin center. So once that is done, then I click on save. So that is done. Now let's test it. Let me test it manually. Test. Yes, continue. Just asking for permission, then run flow. Done. Now let me check my mailbox. Now let me check my mailbox and see where to check my email address. Yeah, can you see? So now let's check, see where the email came from. Can you see demo mail? So the email came from who? Demo mail. You see, it came from, which is the one that I set in my admin center. Can you see? The email came from, see, the email, can you see? The email came from this that I set in my Exchange admin center. Instead of the email to be sent from my connected the user who is reading, which is me, but the email came from the mail I set from the Exchange admin center.